If you're over 60 and you're thinking about selling your home, the rules have changed. What worked for your parents, it does not work today. What worked for sellers 5 years ago, it absolutely does not work today. And the mistakes that most over 60 sellers that they're making right now, it is costing them tens of thousands of dollars. And in this video, I'm going to show you the new rules for selling your home after 60. What's changed, what to watch out for, and how to actually walk away with the equity, the lifestyle, and the freedom that you have earned. I'm Weldon Hobbs, and I help homeowners over 50 line up their life and their wealth and their real estate goals so they can actually enjoy this next chapter. And if you like this type of content, hit the like button and let's get into it. So here's the type of question that I get often. And what I love about it is that it draws out great conversations. And so somebody writes in and it sounds a lot like this. So we're in our late 60s. We've been in our house for 30 years and we know that we probably should sell while the market is decent. We just want to get the most money out of the home before we move. So how do we make sure we don't leave anything on the table? So 30 years in the home and they're ready to move. What they want is top dollar, and that is a downsizing question because that money gives you opportunities down the road. And here's the thing. It is a fair question. Almost everybody who reaches out to me on this asks the same thing. How do I get the most money? And everybody's situation is different, but there are definitely some tools that we can apply for here. And here they told me the house, the timeline, the goal. They want top dollar and all reasonable things. But what they did not tell me is what does done actually look like? Because the most money, that is not a finish line. The most money might mean 6 months of contractors in your house, a dozen showings a week, and a stress level that takes a real toll at 68 years old. Or done, that might mean a clean, fast sale, a little less on paper, but you're sleeping fine the whole way through. Those are two completely different plans. And nobody can tell you which one is right until you decide what you're actually selling for. They asked how to get the most money. The real question is, what does the most money need to buy you on the other side of the sale? So here's what we're actually going to walk through today. The 10 things that you need to know about selling your home after 60. And every one of them is going to tie back to one decision. What does done look like for you? And when we're finished with this, you're going to see this whole thing differently. And if you're sitting on this decision right now, you're going to know exactly what to do next. So starting with number one, and this is a big one. Today's buyer is not you. The person buying your home is probably the age of your kids, late 20s, 30s, maybe 40s, and they shop completely differently than you did 30 years ago. Their first showing is online. They're scrolling photos on a phone and they're busy. And if the pictures don't land, they swipe right past your house. They're not looking for trendy. They're looking for move-in ready, no deferred maintenance, nothing they have to fix on day one. Because every repair that they see, they're mentally adding to the price. Now, tie that back to what does done mean for you. If done is top dollar, you're going to be doing some of that prep work to meet this buyer demand. If done is low stress and fast, you price for the buyer who's going to take it closer to as is. Same house, two plans, and it starts with knowing which plan you are running. Today's buyer, it takes a lot of money in order to get into a home. And so the deferred maintenance, that's where the costs rack up. And they said, it's hard enough just to get my foot in the door. Friends, life transitions, they get complicated fast. And sometimes you just need the right professional to walk alongside you. If that sounds like where you are, you have mounting decisions that you're trying to work through, making sure that there's not unintended consequences. Check out the link below, start.askweldonhobbs.com. You're going to see resources there for life's transitions, the ones that we all go through, and especially if you're going through a downsizing one. And if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe for more life, wealth, and real estate videos and information so that way you can keep up to date with the latest trends. Point number 2, price is the whole game. This is the single most important lever that you have as a seller. The lowball and negotiate tactics and dance that you remember, that mostly does not happen anymore. Today's buyer, they have every comparable sell on their phone. And if you're priced wrong, they don't counter. They just don't show up. And here's the rule that doesn't change. If a home isn't selling, It is the price. That's it. And what you price it at, it depends entirely on what done means for you. You could be chasing the absolute top dollar number, and that might mean it's going to sit longer and you're going to carry more stress. But when you price it right out of the gate, it gets you a faster, cleaner sale. Neither is wrong, but you can't pick until you decided what you're selling for and the trade-offs therein. Okay, point number 3. Inspections are the hard part. So brace yourself for the inspection. And a lot of people think the hard part is getting offers. The hard part is actually getting from accepted offer to closing day. That buyer, they're going to invite in an inspector, and their job is to find things. That's what they're paid to do. There will be a list of things to fix. And today's buyer, who's already maxed out on their budget, like I said earlier, will absolutely ask you to address the things that you think are nothing. I've watched sellers get emotional and they nearly blow up over a few $100s. Your job is to stay calm and keep your eye on the bigger picture, which that's a whole lot easier when you're ready mentally for what done looks like. If it takes a few $100s to make it happen, so be it. You got to be able to see the forest through the trees. All right, are you still with me? Good. Because this next part, it's where most over 60 sellers, they get it wrong. And it comes straight back to that question of what you're really selling for. Here's point number 4, and this is the real cost of selling. So know what those costs are. The biggest one is going to be agent commission. And after the recent industry changes, how buyer agent commissions, how they get handled, and it's different now, you talk through that up front with the listing agent. The part that most people miss is don't shop on percentage alone. Take the difference between a cheaper agent and a better one and then turn it into real dollars. Is it $2,000, $5,000? Then ask yourself whether that gap is worth the service, the calm, the results, what you're actually trying to achieve. If done means low stress, the right agent isn't a cost. They're in the plan up front. Now here's point number 5. Prep and staging, those are not optional. Preparation matters now in a way that it never used to. When you sold your home 30 years ago, family photos on the wall, dated furniture, that didn't matter. But today, your first showing, again, is online. So the house has to photograph well. Staging doesn't mean new furniture. It means that you need to declutter, edit what you have in the house already, rearrange, perhaps paint warm neutral tones because color, that is the cheapest, highest return thing that you can do. How much effort that you put in, it depends again on what done looks like to you. Top dollar is going to require more preparation. Fast and easy, that earns less money. You decide the target, then you spend to hit it, not a dollar more. Now here's point 6. Start decluttering now. This one's personal for me. Start letting go of the stuff early, like years early. And I learned this the hard way through my mom. She put off downsizing until it became a crisis. When the move finally came, it all had to happen in a week, and we hauled more than 100 bags out to the dumpster into Goodwill, all in one stretch. 100 bags. 30 years of a life reduced down to 1 bedroom, 1 living room, 1 dining room, all within a few days. The healthy version of a downsize is 12 to 18 months. That's the timeline that lets you do it right. Keep what matters and pass things on. It lets you breathe. It lets you just take one methodical step at a time. And here's the tie back. If done includes your peace of mind, the decluttering clock starts way before the sale sign ever goes into the yard. Don't let it become a 1-week scramble. Point number 7. The old rule of trying to time the market, look, it's fallacy. Homes sell every single day in this country, 11,000 on average, in fact. And so yours can be one of those, without a doubt. The best time to sell is when you are ready. And the only exceptions that I would make to that is the week before Thanksgiving or a week before Christmas. Those do have significant lulls. Listing in fall or winter, that can actually work in your favor because everybody else is waiting for the spring. So there's less competition. The real timing question, it's whether you're ready. And ready means you know what done looks like before you list. Point number 8, and this is buying your next place. So this one trips a lot of folks up. If you are retired and you don't have W-2 income, getting a mortgage, that can be genuinely difficult, even sitting on plenty of cash. And bridge loans, where you buy before you sell, those are largely a thing of the past. This is where the right team earns its keep. So a good lender and a good agent, they help you sequence it. They sell first or buy first, how to carry the gap, what is realistic for your situation. And the answer, that depends on, you guessed it, what does done look like? Having certainty and no double move or speed into the next place. Different goals require a different sequence. Point number 9, these are that the emotions are real. So the part that nobody's going to warn you about, and it hits everybody differently, is that selling a home, it is emotionally heavy. And then when you have decades of a life in the walls that surround you and pretending like it's not going to hurt you, that's where burnout shows up. You get tired because of the emotions that you're not actually acknowledging. And this is the heart of the whole thing. So done is not a number on a closing statement either. It's how you feel walking out the door for the last time. And when you build a plan around that, where you know where you're going, that's what sets you up for success. Point 10, is your money worth stress? And here, this is where everything comes home. Your money is worth stress, and only you can actually set what we call the exchange rate in this case. And I want you to ask yourself honestly, is squeezing out every last dollar worth 6 months of contractors, of showings, of worry? For some people, the answer is absolutely yes. But for others, leaving a little bit of that money on the table so you can be done and settled and move on, that is the best deal that they ever made. There's no right answer here. There's only your answer. And that's the decision the whole video has been pointing at. What does the most money need to buy you on the other side? And when you decide that, every other choice gets a little simpler. So here's your one next step before you call an agent, before you paint a single wall, before you do anything. I want you to finish this sentence. This sale is a success if 6 months from now, I have blank, and you fill that in. And it's not, I'll tell you this much, it's not a price, it's a life. So write it down. What do you want in that life? That becomes your vision to help drive you whenever things get tough. It's also going to tell you how much to spend and how fast to move. Everything that we covered today is going to run through this. You've got a big transition coming up and you think that you might need some help. Let's talk. Look in the link below. You're going to see resources there and opportunity to book on my calendar if it might help. I look forward to connecting with you because in this world, it is confusing enough, and having somebody to actually break down the decisions in front of you, I find that it helps out significantly. I'm Weldon Hobbs, and when we're making big decisions in life, we start with your life goal, we optimize it for wealth, and then we focus on the real estate. Remember, good decisions, it starts with good information, and I'll see you in the next one.